Alright, now for overall allocation, we've talked about splitting up your money between stocks, bonds, alternatives, etc. So let's just say that we've dedicated 20% of the portfolio to bonds. Now, the bond market is incredibly complicated. It's a lot more difficult for individuals to buy individual bonds or any of these. So for that reason, unless you have an investment professional who has relationships with people on a bond desk, which it seems kind of old school, but this is the way the bond market works. If you want to buy a corporate bond or municipal bonds or treasury bonds or any of these, for the most part, you have to get on the phone and call someone who sits on what's called a desk, and basically over the phone talk about bonds and figure out what you want. And it seems a little old school, but the reason there hasn't been as much innovation is because it's really complicated. So if you're just an individual investor, you don't have an investment advisor, we're gonna erase all this. And we are going to invest in what are called bond funds. And we're going to put 20% in bond funds. Now, the good news is that bond funds are traded just as easily as stocks are traded, or ETFs or mutual funds. In fact, you can buy bond funds for any of those other categories we discussed. You can log on to your Schwab account or your TD Ameritrade account or your Scottrade or E-Trade or whatever and buy bond funds of any of those other categories we talked about. Corporates, high yields, treasuries, international, denominated in USD or local currency, anything, with the click of a button, just like you could buy stocks or ETFs or mutual funds. So that is the good news. Unfortunately, the biggest difference is that from bond market to stock market, you can go into your brokerage account that we just spoke about and buy Apple stock or IBM or individual companies. That is much more difficult to do for individual bonds. But for bond funds, buying a basket of bonds, it's actually very easy. So that's the good news. So bond funds are a great option, and if you don't have an investment professional, that is kind of the only, probably maybe not the only, but certainly the best method to take.